With a fully fleshed game design document of more than 1,500 pages, KQ9 Every Cloak Has a Silver Lining is one game divided into a trilogy and featuring 9 chapters to its story. In an era where epic sagas have already proved to be extremely successful, for example, blockbusters such as The Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, and The Chronicles of Narnia being right around the corner at Christmas, KQ9 could not be timed better. A magical universe filled with hundreds of mythological and fantastic creatures, and epic stories to entice players to continue so they can find out what happens next in the cinematic atmosphere of the game as it unfolds around them.
I remember when I was writing the script to King's Quest IX, I was also playing The Longest Journey at the time, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And when I was looking at the story and the plot of The Longest Journey, I realized that the basic storyline that King's Quest had until that point wasn't going to cut it. The idea was to then bring the King's Quest series to a much mature audience by basically adding more character development, adding a much more thought out plot. In this sense, we wanted to create an epic. And to create such an epic, we made it a lot more cinematic.
You must come with me immediately.
What's wrong?
Sire, it's your wife.
Valanice? What's happening? Is she alright?
We don't know, sire. Is
she in her room?
Yes, sire. Where have you been, sire? The whole castle has been worried for your safety since the storm last evening. Did you find a cure?
We chose 3D over the traditional two-dimensional hand-drawn art of previous King's Quest games because we wanted to be able to create a more cinematic gaming experience with sweeping camera movements and dynamic screens.
What can I do?
I must find out who is behind this. I shall do everything I can to help you, Your Highnesses.
In doing this, we didn't want the world to feel alien to King's Quest fans. So we decided that the textures that we place on the 3D models must be hand-painted. For much of the first part of the game, we recreated scenes from the Green Isles in King's Quest VI. As you can see, we've been able to keep the style of King's Quest VI, which is familiar to all King's Quest fans, but have improved and updated the graphics to compete with today's adventure games.
We have had ideas to make a full 3D game, so the player would feel more immersed when they suddenly got to see the King's Quest VI Crossroads from a different angle, for instance. 2 reasons we chose to make it in 3D but still use the share-style gameplay is first, we simply don't have enough time and resources to go the whole 9 yards. Secondly, we want the player to recognize the lands as they were created by Roberta Williams, with the addition of being in 3D. And especially in light of King's Quest IX's cinematic theme, this approach allowed us to get more dynamic camera movements, which obviously isn't feasible with 2D rendered backgrounds.
King's Quest IX plays as an adventure game. We basically took the best features from past adventure games that we saw, such as multiple characters and companions to your characters, and inventory-based puzzles and maze-like puzzles. But we also wanted to bring it to the 21st century, so we created a game world where there's so much danger and so much tension going on that we included chases, we included arcade sequences that makes a much more interesting gaming world. We have, for example, a full developed magic system that you can use to interact with the world. There were some other features that we thought of that we wanted to include in King's Quest IX, but unfortunately because of lack of time and the lack of a budget to work with, we had to cut out. One of the features that we had was the idea to include bosses in an adventure game. Everybody loves the boss. When you're playing an action game or an RPG, you crave the moment that you find a boss because they make the gameplay more interesting. They're different to the kind of enemies that you find along the way. They're unique.
Anis. Do you remember when we first met?
We wanted the acting in KQ9 to be exceptional. We have a wonderful story to tell, and we wanted actors that could be able to bring the story to life. We held auditions in New York City for the main characters and for the large supporting characters in the game.
A power so great that it would consume you, heal you.
Oh, the disgusting
That ain't
thing.
the way to receive us after all the trouble to get here.
I understand that you feel we are kingless.
Balloons and some food, like tacos and salsa. Then I forsake you, your family, this prophecy.
You don't need to be eating anything, porker.
We held online auditions for small roles in the game. We had over 300 auditions to go through.
If our lives disappear in this journey of eternities, hold on to.
Music to me is the soul for a game because it gives it life and touches a player on an emotional level that nothing else can. The music itself, I think, is a journey because you go to many places and there's a lot of music for this game. There's going to be about 2 hours of music. The music is very different. Sometimes you have music that's very ethnic, and sometimes you have a mixture of genres, like it's new age or classical or mystical, or brings you adventure or tragedy, sadness, love. And basically this game's a perfect opportunity to explore all the areas that music can offer a game.
Always find you and I will remember the words I once read in your eyes. In them I'll find all the strength that I need to fight, and I will.
When I look back at all these years that I've been working on King's Quest IX, when I look at all the energy and all the passion that's been poured into this project, I don't regret one single hour that I spent on, maybe the thousands of hours that I spent on this project. I'm really happy and I'm really proud of our team.